That's it, man. We are on. We are live on the porch.
Let's go.
Welcome. Can anybody hear me?
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Good.
Are you live?
I'm checking the settings because I am the technical director. Thanks for being here, guys. We really appreciate it. You can see our website down below me, theporchislive.com, theporchislive.com.
Theporchislive.com.
That's right. And you can always catch us on American Busker, iHeartRadio, 150 million registered users, 2,000 devices, 260 platforms. Thank you so much. And the Sports Porch podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all those other podcast things.
Podcast.
Right?
Podcast.
You're making up the words.
New
tonight.
word.
I
It's a
love
podcast now.
I'm taking the night off. Chris
It's a
is making up the
podcast
words.
now.
If you guys,
I love it.
Look, if you guys only,
It's a podcast.
look, if you had a small snippet of what goes on here verbally before every show, pretty much, right? We would not be on the air.
You know,
could I say that?
That's very close to what my 10-year-old niece says. Instead of saying bitmoji, she says Bitmoji.
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 I Bitmoji.
Podcast.
She could be the technical director for
Yes.
the show. I think we
Podcast.
should bring her in.
Okay, listen, I got some news here. The next 4 Sundays in a row. That is, yes, starting Easter Sunday.
Is that
So you're gonna have to delay dinner or eat dinner early for those of you who celebrate Easter. We are going to be on American Busker iHeartRadio at 4 p.m. A double shot. Not sure what the second show is going to be. It's definitely going to be the Sports Porch. We'll talk about that after the show, but we'll put that out on social media.
4
everything.
o'clock. That's a tough time. People are going to be sitting down
Double
on
shot,
their
4 to
ham.
6 to their ham.
I mean,
That should have been pre-shows.
Well, it's a great time to introduce the Sports Porch to your families.
that's right. You're sitting down to your Easter dinner
Mhm.
and you turn on the Sports
That's
Porch.
right.
Let's
I like
face it. How many conversations at Easter dinner would you rather escape from? Right?
Yeah.
Sports Porch can help you.
That's
Sports
right.
Porch will
Yes.
help you
Yes.
with those awkward moments at the
Yes.
dinner table.
Right.
Yes.
When you're sitting down to your ham, you can listen to the Sports Porch.
You
There
don't
you
really,
go.
you don't really want to know what's going on with Aunt Franny's corns on her feet, right?
Right.
No, definitely not at the dinner table.
No.
We have dinner table talk.
I can tell that Mark sat down to a lot of Easter dinners in his life because
I have.
Yeah.
Probably more than you.
yeah, it's true. all right. I digress. Okay, look, we promised everybody we would talk a little bit more about the Pirates this year. I would say until they're mathematically eliminated, which will be sometime next week, so it's not going to be that bad. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Pirates. Obviously, the Pens are rolling into the playoffs. Hopefully, right. DG is in the house as always. DG, thank you,
David!
DV.
And if there's, we can pontificate a little bit about any changes in the Steelers drafting. I mean, it's, I was saying before the show, we're going into the dead zone now. Yes, there's the NBA season, hockey, baseball, but the big sport here in Pittsburgh, football, there's not a lot to talk about. So let's just start with the Pirates right away.
Let's get into the
really?
Pirates. Let's jump right into
Really?
the Buccos.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
as we sit here right now,
I mean,
the
they already
Pirates
got a losing series behind them. We should
Yeah.
talk about it.
as we sit here right now, the Pirates are playing the Boston Red Sox, and it looks like it's already 3-3 after the first inning. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of games I would watch.
yeah, right, scoring.
I mean, entertainment.
O'Neal Cruz, crushed that ball in the first game. Brian Reynolds, and again, look, they're 1-2. They won an opening day. They lost the next two, and obviously it's a long season, and we have absolutely no idea what's going to happen this year. I mean, a lot of teams you can kind of try to predict.
I think we have a pretty good
I
idea.
think
Well-
we have a general idea of what's going to happen with the Pittsburgh
I'm trying to
Pirates.
stay on the positive side of things
Clearly.
here, guys.
But there's positive, and then there's
Pirates.
false hope.
False.
false hope,
I don't have
attendance
false hope.
record.
Like what you just presented, like to our viewers, a false flag.
I did
Yes.
not. I don't do that.
I think Mark is speaking more of the truth with this than you have.
Okay.
Yes.
Look, I've been called everything in the book tonight. All
Yes.
right. So, okay. So that's where we're going to leave it with the Pirates, because I know that, Steve wants to get on to some much more important sports stuff right now.
Hey, I'm happy to talk about the Pirates losing. We can talk about their finances. We can talk about whatever you want with the Pirates for the next 25 seconds.
Yeah. So, I mean, opening day at the ballpark's coming up this weekend. That'll be fun.
Friday night.
Is
There's going to be a lot.
Friday night?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's going
it's
to be a
gonna
lot of people down there.
Yeah.
The
even if
Cutchheads will
weather's
be out.
crazy.
The Cutchheads. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it'll
Is that
be-
a word? The
I just
Cutchheads?
made it up.
I
Did you
like
make
the
it up?
Cutchheads.
Yeah,
Cutchheads.
that's pretty good.
Cutchheads.
That's pretty good. DG chimes in. He says he's afraid it's going to be the same old Pirates. 3 in the first, and after Boston's first 3 batters tied at 3-3. Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. The one thing about the Pirates this year that I believe is that they do have the makings of a decent lineup. Okay, and that's about where we'll stop. Reynolds is a solid player. Cruz has the makings of a superstar.
He can hit home runs.
Their defense is not subpar. It's not in the tops of the league, but what they really lack is pitching. And I know there's gonna be those old Pirates fans or those stalwart Pirates fans. Mitch Keller's gonna be better. Look, no, I totally disagree that they lack pitching completely. Trust me, I'm a Baltimore Orioles fan. I totally understand what it means to lack pitching, because the Orioles lack pitching again this year, even though they have a better team than the Pirates on paper. And yeah, it's going to be I think it's actually going to be a long year. We'll see.
I would just say to David, don't be afraid of it. Embrace the suck.
Embrace the. Say
I
that
mean,
again. Could you say that one more time?
Embrace the suck.
All right.
Mm.
There we
Right?
go.
This is what you have to do with the Pirates, because
As often as you can.
if you don't embrace the suck, then you're going to be disappointed series after series after series.
Right.
Really, what you want them to do is like to win 1 out of every 3, to just have some consistency, and then hopefully by mid-season, maybe they're winning 2 out of 3.
Oh,
In your occasional,
Yep.
they're going to go 0-3 every now and then, but maybe they get 3-0.
I love-
once or twice before the All-Star.
I love this comment from DG. He's watching the game. Doesn't look like that. Sorry about that defensive comment.
There you go.
DG. Right.
Go back to the comment that I said. Embrace the stuff.
Yeah.
Just laugh at it. Enjoy it. It should be that should be your enjoyment. You've turned it
Yeah.
on to watch a little league team play Major League Baseball.
Oh, there you go. Good one. Good one. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on to the Steelers real quick. There's really nothing going on with the Steelers right now.
Well, the big news is that Peasy's kid came into Pittsburgh and
Right.
was
Yeah.
at the facility.
It was at
Right.
the facility.
Like, oh my God, everybody! I think they had 4 or 5 red carpets out, and everybody was just excited about that beyond belief. Myself, I'm not that excited about it. And I don't know who else they brought in, but he was the one who got all the press. So clearly, everybody knows who the press and the people want
Mhm.
Tomlin to pick.
Yeah,
But
and
we really have no idea.
We
No.
don't
No.
know. I mean, but
No.
every time he moves, it's like, oh, Tomlin met with him,
Right.
and I don't know. You don't know. There was an article about that Ohio State offensive lineman that everybody was like,
Mhm.
he's going to be
Mhm.
great. So,
Yeah,
is this the guy that you were talking about? Not Skoronski.
No,
That's
no, but there's
Northwestern.
no, he's like a
No,
big
there's
left
a
tackle.
there's a good left tackle from Ohio State in the draft who they think could last to the teens, early 20s, possibly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mhm.
so I think maybe he's in the mix. Bud Dupree,
he
yeah,
visited.
he visited, but you know what? If they were going to sign him, they would have probably
Would
already
have happened,
signed
don't you
him.
think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
I think they're just waiting him out to see how cheap he can get.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
maybe even wait till after the draft to see Who knows? Maybe they're going to do something stupid and actually draft another edge rusher in the first couple rounds. I think that would be dumb, but they definitely wouldn't need him then.
Yeah, I don't think much has changed on the Steelers draft board.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be one of those years where because we have that, Khan and the Weidel influence and some glaring needs at line, we could be surprised, though. You never know. I mean, look, they bring these guys in for a reason, and who knows if it was scheduling or whatever the issue was, but they did bring in that offensive lineman, that center, first.
Well, what scares me about what they've done already is that they've already gotten somebody in the secondary, and they've also gotten people on the offensive line. So my fear is that they have decided that those positions are now okay. Let's look somewhere else, like wide receiver or edge rusher, or linebacker, even potentially.
Yeah.
Although they did address the linebacker position already.
They did.
With 2 people.
They totally revamped that linebacker core.
So that only really leaves like wide receiver and edge rusher, if you think about it, or maybe even defensive line.
Yeah.
Which once again, I don't know. That scares me. That's what scares me. I think they still need to think about offensive line and, definitely a tackle and, a cornerback for the future. Patrick Peterson is not the cornerback for the future.
No.
Well, if Weidel does follow the Eagles' philosophy, then you might get your wish.
Yeah.
They might
That's what I'm hoping.
They might go line.
And that's the thing about this year's draft. That's why you can't really predict, because it's a brand new set of people drafting. So this is the basically the baseline for what could happen in the future, but you don't know what's going to happen this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that the whole idea of that Lamar Jackson fiasco, I've thought about that more and more. And I
it is a fiasco.
I know. Yes. And the Ravens would never trade him to the
What's
Steelers.
going on now?
Nothing.
No, nothing. It's been absolutely nothing.
They're at a total standstill.
Actually, I think from the last time we talked, basically Lamar Jackson said, I don't care what I get as long as I get at least $1 more of what Deshaun Watson gets in guaranteed money.
Yeah. So $250 million in $1.
Yeah. $250 million in $1. And I guess you could sign him for like 35 years and he would be happy with that, as long as he was guaranteed over 35
Meanwhile,
years.
I've seen things where
it's crazy.
It shows you like how much money he's lost compared to Josh Allen, who came out the same year he did.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous. It's like Josh Allen's made, I don't know, 88 million or something, and he's made like 25 million or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other side of that argument is, hey, he's rich anyway. Like, at what point are you not rich enough?
Yeah, I mean, that is
well,
true.
I just think it's the false comparisons that drive me crazy about the fiasco, as you call it, which I agree.
Yeah.
It's come on. Everybody agrees that contract's ridiculous.
Right.
And I know it's there to compare, but nobody agrees with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If somebody did, he'd be signed.
Yeah, exactly.
If somebody did, he'd be signed.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. It's going to be real interesting to watch that. And as Steelers fans, you just hope he never plays again. I mean, as far as I'm concerned right now, he's kind of talking himself out of playing.
Whatever, we'll find out.
Yeah.
That's in the future, though. Let's talk about the present.
Yes, let's do that. And hopefully let's move on to college basketball.
There is a big game tonight.
Let's do that.
Big game, San Diego State, the Aztecs.
Did I do that right? UConn or SDSU?
SDSU.
San Diego State University.
The Aztecs.
And we just want to
blue blood.
We want to state that the Grand Schwabini has lost the Final Four round, and he will have to try and consume 2 bloomin' onions.
Yep.
Let me tell you, Schwaber, we had a bloomin' onion last night, and look, it's going to be hard for you to finish one. Trust me.
How big is it?
We said it was this big. Is that true?
Yeah, it's about that big.
Yeah.
It's just a big onion.
All right. Good luck to you. And we will bring that live on the Sports Porch. Schwaber will go to Outback, and hopefully we'll get some.
I have a feeling we're going to be eating some leftover bloomin' onions.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Well, actually, we need to offer him a reward if he actually does it. Okay. I'm serious. Well, I know we didn't offer you a reward.
We can give him a pass in the next one. Like if he
Yeah.
ends up,
It's like
in last,
I get a buy for the.
yeah, that's
for
right.
the
Yes,
Like if he ends up
you get
in
a buy.
last in the
Okay.
next challenge, then he's already fulfilled.
You get a
I've got
buy.
a buy,
Yeah.
yeah.
You'll definitely. Yeah, you know what?
if he gets them both.
After watching that, after seeing the Bloomin' Onion and being reminded of it yesterday, and how great I felt after eating like a third of one. Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Let's
so-
go.
Listen,
Sorry
guys,
about that, Amy.
Yeah. Does this does this NCAA championship game does this mark the end of an era and the beginning of a new one?
No, I think it's one-off tournament where a lot of upsets happened. I fully expect that next year you'll see 2 or 3 top seeds back in it. I just think it was just one of those seasons that it just happened. It happens about every 12 to 15
Yeah, but
years.
the transfer portal is
I don't think
is
so.
new.
I don't think so. I
Yeah.
disagree. I think you're going to see more kind of like of the middle level teams, showing up. Whoever it is. I mean, these middle teams could be anybody. You could have, like Mississippi State is like a 7 seed, and you could have, North Carolina State as a 7 seed, and
I don't know.
Iowa State is a 9 seed. I mean, it just could be anybody.
We'll find out next year. I just
We
don't.
will.
I think the transfer portal is a niche now. It's kind of catchy for athletes to do. I think they'll get bored of it. Honestly, I think they'll get bored of it.
Well, you know what? That's an interesting take that you have on it by saying that. I really haven't thought about it that way, but I've thought, okay, so the transfer portal, to simplify it, you don't want to play for college, team.
The team sucks.
You decide, or you don't like them or whatever.
You don't like
just
the
say,
coach,
I'm
yeah.
leaving, and you put yourself in the transfer portal.
Mhm.
Okay. That's not how free agency works. But imagine if that's how free agency worked. Okay. How would that change professional sports? I'm saying I think this is the start of a brand new era of college.
Well,
basketball.
think about it like this. If you look at it, maybe not the best comparison, but look at the women's side, right? Where LSU just beat Iowa to win the national championship.
Right.
Now, granted, they have one of the best coaches of all time.
Right.
Who's won 4 championships. But LSU is not LSU for women's basketball or men's basketball. They've never won anything. So they're like a middling program. So 2 years ago, they had 6 wins. Okay. Then last year, they made the tournament and made it into the second round. Then this year, they used the transfer portal to bring in 9 new players.
There you go.
And they won the tournament.
Yeah.
But my point is, you're not going to get 9 new players every year.
No,
year
you're
after
definitely
year.
not.
No,
So that's the thing.
But you
It
can.
happen.
But you
It
can.
It can
But you
happen.
can. You couldn't do that before. I mean, I guess that's I look at it and say college basketball as we know it is I don't want to say it's done, but yeah, it's done. I mean, those teams that you could count on every year, whether you liked it or not, that had the legendary coaches, the legendary recruiting, the legendary classes, the blue bloods of college basketball are no more. That's the way I see it.
I totally disagree. I
Okay.
think you'll see it come back next year.
Okay, maybe.
We'll
All
have
right.
to table it.
We'll table
Table
it
it
until
for
next
next
year.
year.
Yep.
Okay. And and for the first couple years though, you still have that draw. I mean, transfer or Kansas still has a draw. Duke still has a draw. North Carolina still has a draw. But as time goes by and they start to fade, so okay, who's going to win tonight? Toss up. I think UConn's got it.
Yeah, I already
mean,
picked
they-
UConn, so I
yeah.
got to stick with
I
them.
think they won every game by 13 points or something like
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
Or an average of
they're playing
13
really
points.
good basketball.
Yeah.
They were the number 1 team at one point this year,
Mhm.
and then they went into a little bit of a funk.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're obviously out of it at this point. No, I mean, look, San Diego State does play tough, and they certainly got guys who can hit shots at the end of the game. But who knows?
They'll hit a shot at the end of the game, and they'll lose by 14. There you go.
Maybe,
go.
maybe not.
All right. So we're all picking UConn. We'll see what happens. Let's move on to our next segment.
If I pick San Diego State and they win, do I only have to eat 1 bloomin' onion?
Yes, but then you don't get a bye.
That's right.
Okay.
Exactly. That would be
Let's
your
go
buy.
Aztecs.
All right. Here we go. All right. Next up, let's just move straight into the important part of the show tonight, which is, yes, do we have the sound effect?
Hockey Jesus. Welcome to the program, our hockey genius.
You can't get it all right. Now you're a hockey genius.
Hockey
as well
genius.
As being a hockey
I
genius.
said
Hockey
Jesus.
Jesus.
No, you said hockey genius.
I did not.
What did
You
say?
can roll back the tape. You will be wrong in your analysis.
There you go.
But that's okay. I
Yeah.
like being a
Yeah.
genius Jesus. How about that?
Yes.
A Jesus genius.
A hockey Jesus genius.
Yeah. Look, if
I
we're
cannot
if-
say
if-
that
if-
3 times straight.
If we're not careful, too, we'll talk about this for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. That's true. Well, the hockey season is fast approaching its end. It has already reached its end for some people, like the Philadelphia
How
Flyers.
about the Flyers with a nice effort last night, though?
I didn't think it was actually that great of an effort. I think it was just the Penguins tanking in the third period
Well,
and
would you-
the Flyers
would you-
hitting posts instead of scoring.
Would you say that the slap shot against the glass that went off the goalie's back was kind of fluky?
That was great.
Would you say it was
That
fluky?
That was definitely the hockey gods saying,
Yeah.
"Here, have a goal."
Yeah, so I mean, it was 2-2.
Yeah,
2-2.
What the funny part about it is, so we were sitting on that side of
Yeah.
the rink, and like you could see like the way Raquel hit it, it was
Mhm.
boom, it was going to hit off pretty
Mhm.
hard. I didn't think it would bounce straight back, but the goalie kind of turned back to look, and it's like
Yeah.
he saw it and he just didn't know how to react.
He like
to it.
saw it too late.
Yeah,
kinda.
and it was
Yeah.
just like, oh, maybe I should go backwards. And by the time he said I should go backwards to prevent it from hitting
Right,
off my
right.
back and in, it was already on his back, and he knocked it right into the net. That definitely was a fluky goal. Look, you need some, as it's called, puck luck. You need some puck luck
do.
to win
You
games.
do.
Whether you're in the playoffs, you're fighting for the playoffs, or you're looking to eliminate somebody from the playoffs. Puck luck is a terrible thing, and you can't explain it. Like there's no way to explain it. Not even the hockey Jesus can explain why puck luck happens to some teams and it doesn't
You're
to
right.
others. Some people say it's because, one, you shoot the puck, so it's
Mhm.
going towards the net. Two, other people are like, well, you get enough bodies in front of it, it's
Mhm.
just you're gonna by default it's gonna bang off to somebody, hit off to somebody else, and go in the net.
Right.
I don't know about that, but it is true. Like getting
Yeah.
traffic in front of that
Right.
definitely increases your ability to have some
Right.
puck luck.
Like I was watching the game with Amy last night, and when they scored their second goal in the power play, the tip in,
Yeah.
Amy said to me, she's
Raquel.
like, "That's just total luck, right?" And I said, "Well, not really,
No,
though."
not
I
the
said,
second
"Not really." I said, "Here's the thing: certain players have better eye-hand coordination.
Yeah.
They're trying to get that blade, or that stick on the puck. Now, granted, did he know it was going to go exactly where it got to? No, but certain players are much better than others. Like for example, Sidney Crosby is fantastic at it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of luck, but that still takes skill to do that.
We have to
Yeah,
pause
yeah,
this hockey
yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
segment to do some accolades here.
Yeah.
Rob, congratulations. Yes.
Robbie.
You are officially the winner after tonight.
Yes.
So, shoot me a text and let me know what size shirt you want.
Well, he can have a
Or
shirt or a
you
mug.
can have a mug. It's completely up to you which one you want. You can respond online right now, or you can shoot me a text and let me know.
I'm curious, how many teams did Rob have in the Final Four?
None.
Nobody did.
No.
So
This was over 2
congratulations.
No,
weeks
he
ago.
killed it though. He
Well
killed
done.
it. He killed it though in the Sweet 16.
Did he?
He had like
Yeah, I think he did.
he had like
didn't he?
12 teams or
Did he?
something.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
16.
That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Only
this
the
year.
4 that he didn't have
Yeah.
were
Right.
Yeah.
others.
Yeah.
And he's watching on YouTube. So listen, subscribe to us on YouTube, buddy, and throw this out at all your friends. And we thank you.
Oh
for
yeah, and
participating.
post a picture of the girl Max went out with last night on there if you haven't already seen her.
Is there?
I thought Max had a girlfriend.
Oh no, he's in the field right now.
Is he?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
out there.
Yeah, but we
But
digress.
anyway, so let's go back to the hockey. Let's go back to the hockey
Yes.
Jesus. Congratulations, Rob, and we'll send you your goods soon. So as far as the Penguins go, I mean, yeah, it was a good game. Actually, it was a very strange game because actually I thought the Flyers came out and took it to the Penguins for like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
Well.
the Penguins basically took over the game and then they tried to give it away in the third period, but it was just too big of a deficit. 3-0 is too big of a deficit.
I'll tell you what, I thought that DeSmith played a fantastic
He
game.
did. So on the Hockey Jesus schedule that I have, I write down the goals, I write down the final score, I write down their record at the end of the game. By the way, the Penguins are 38-39, still have a losing record because we don't count loser points here at the Hockey Jesus world. But my MVP for last night was Casey DeSmith.
Now, I've got a question for you, Hockey Jesus. You have been saying for the longest time that you think Smith should be the goalie because Jari has been just so out of sorts. Now, granted, since we talked last, Jari had a very nice shutout. Now, I listened to your monologue last night.
Yes.
And you're going back to Jari.
Yes.
So please explain.
So here's the thing. DeSmith had a chance to take it over, and when he did, and he was the guy, he pretty much sucked at it. That's the problem. Like, he did get a chance to do it. Like, that was his chance to shine, and he lost 2 really important games in that stretch. One was the Montreal. You can't do that. Like, if you're going to be the starting goalie, you have to beat the shit-ass teams, and then you got to play okay enough against the good teams to give your scorers a chance to get 3 or 4 goals, and that's what Casey DeSmith, he's just not able to do it. What he is able to do is he's able to come in for a game, maybe a game every, like, say 3 or 4 games, and play really well. That's what he does. That's what he's very good at. But anytime he's got to play 2 or 3 games in a row, you're going to get one really good game, one okay game, and depending on how the scoring is going that game, you might win it. And then a game where he'll give up too many goals in a game they should have won. And that's the problem with DeSmith as the goalie. And he proved that. And that's why I'm going back to saying DeSmith should be the backup goalie, because that's what he does.
I will take your word for it, but I will tell you, I thought DeSmith played the best game I've seen him play last night.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, he played well his last time out too. Yeah, he played really well his last time out, and that was in kind of a backup situation where he didn't have to play the night before, he didn't have to play the game after. That's his sweet spot.
Gotcha.
And I think if he has to play in the playoffs, let's say they do make the playoffs. Like I said this in my podcast. I said this on Spreaker. I said this online that. I think Jari should play the rest of the games because there's enough rest in between the games, the rest of the time out, where Jari should be well rested, provided he's not injured. If he's injured, I don't even have to talk about that because everybody knows how I feel about Jari and the injuries this year. But if he's not injured, then Jari's got to be the guy. You got to pick a goalie.
He's got to be ready to go for the playoffs, and that's how you do it.
Unless you're Boston, you got Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman, who both have like 920 save percentages and are just incredible.
So I want to take a quick second in here before we get to these comments and questions, and thank everybody for listening. Of course, on American Busker iHeartRadio, and remind you that the Hockey Jesus preaches after every single damn Penguins game on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you get your podcasts.
There's only 5 left to get.
I mean, this is dedication.
Hey, sports porters.
He has it. And let's go Pens. So just remember, subscribe to the Sports Porch podcast on the iHeartRadio
I'm glad
app,
you guys are catching on.
and you can hear the Hockey Jesus after every game. Now, first, I want to get DG's comment in here because it pertains directly to the game last night. That DeSmith had a few phenomenal saves, but sometimes he seems to miss when he's squared up with clear vision of the shot, maybe like that last Flyer goal. And Rob says, would you rather have to play Boston, Carolina, or New Jersey?
Well, let's talk about DeSmith.
Okay.
I just think that's just DeSmith not being a great goalie. Like he has times where he just doesn't see the puck. Look, and that happened actually to Swayman, if you saw in the game against Boston. Like he went over, and the coach, the asshole coach for the Bruins said, Sid's stick was in the goalie's head, which is why he challenged it. But that was such bullshit. But he lost. Everybody lose sight of that puck. It moves so fast sometimes. And if you have enough traffic in front, that's how you beat a good goalie.
Right.
And that's what happened to the Smith. He was actually shielded by like two flyers in front. When you can't see the puck, you can't stop it. You just have to hope it hits you.
Right.
Mhm.
And if it's a good shot, it's not going to hit you. So yeah, so that's what happened to the Smith. As far as who would I rather play in the playoffs, so there are two teams that I consider no-go. You cannot play against them. If you play against them, it's a guaranteed loss in the first round.
Can I guess who?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to guess the Boston Bruins.
Boston Bruins is absolutely one.
And the second one, I'm going to guess is sort of a little bit of a surprise. I'm going to say the Rangers.
No, that's absolutely right. The Rangers and Boston, I think, are the two best teams in the league, and for different reasons. Boston's got it going on, both with the goalie, and they've just played solid all year, and they're going to get better. They're going to get Taylor Hall back. They're going to get Foligno back, who's a two-bit third, fourth line guy, but he's a really good third, fourth line guy. I mean, he used to play on the first or second line for Columbus when he played for them, and he actually kills the Penguins. I hate that guy. So they're going to get better. And as far as the Rangers go, I mean, they figured out Tarasenko, where to play him, and Kane, and they've got that power play going crazy. So and of course you got Shesterkin, who I think is the best goalie besides Vasilevsky. But did you see what Vasilevsky did this week? I think he played in 3 games. He gave up 1 goal on 100 shots.
Wow.
He had 2 shutouts.
Wow.
This week. I mean, he's just ramping it up again. He's just an incredible goalie. I can't even think, like, if the Penguins had a goalie like him, like what they could do.
So I mean, Boston, the first President's Trophy or the rare President's Trophy winner to maybe take home the cup.
Well, I don't want to go that far, but as far as who would I rather play, Rob, I think you're right. I think I would be okay with playing Carolina or New Jersey. I think for different reasons, though. Carolina, because, you know, I can't say the guy's name, Svechnikov, got injured, and he's out. And he's basically one of their superstars. And New Jersey, just because, I don't know, we don't have much luck against New Jersey in the playoffs, so I wouldn't want to play them first.
They're unproven, though.
But they're young, and I think they're going to have goalie problems in the playoffs. And I don't think their structure is set so that they can tighten it up. So I think the Penguins would try and skate with them, and they might outskate them some nights. It would be a really fun series, by the way, the Penguins in New Jersey. That would just be back and forth.
7-6 games.
As opposed to the Carolina series, it would be terrible. It would be like 1-0, 2-1 games, and it just would be a sludge fest trying to get through the middle zone. But I think they could do it. I think they could probably outscore Carolina, but that would be dependent upon Jari playing really well. So for different reasons, I would be okay with playing Carolina or New Jersey in the first round. But dude, if you got to play Boston, forget it. It's over. I don't see any way where we can beat them 4 games in a 7-game series.
Now, I hate to be a downer here, but can you comment on Evgeny Malkin and his undisciplined play?
Well, have you seen Malkin play the last 17 years?
I have.
Okay,
but
so explain to me.
But last night I thought was his worst of all time.
Well,
I think he got 3 2-minute penalties, maybe within 7 minutes.
6 minutes
and then got himself thrown out of the game.
Well, that happened in the third period.
Right.
That happened in the third period.
I love that.
So Gino loves to play with an edge, and he gets an edge because he gets himself all hopped up over stupid stuff, right? Yeah. And usually stupid stuff is if he gets hit with an errant stick or he gets pulled down and there's not a penalty called against him. And then, of course, he goes and does something stupid, and then a penalty is called against him. Right. That just sets him off, right? What was interesting is in the first period, before he went on his rampage, there was a time when somebody actually kind of ran into him.
Somebody did it to him first, and then he got caught going second.
Well, no. Even before that, in the first period, you didn't see this, but on the ice, like he was near the goal, and there was some pushing going on, and then he pushed somebody, and then somebody pushed him, and then he just skated away. And then as he was skating away, I think it wasn't Farabee. I think it was Konechny, maybe.
Okay.
Just kind of,
Yeah,
how they,
Konechny's
you
the
know,
one
how
with
they
the big
skate.
mouth, yeah.
They kind of skate.
Yeah,
he kind of ran
yeah,
into
yeah,
him,
yeah.
and then Gino just walked away from that, and I was like, wow, that was really mature of him. Like normally, if he did that, that would be it, man. He would have ran him or sticked him or anything, right? And then he got those 3 penalties in a row, and I think what happened in the third period, he just had enough. Like I think something snapped in him. Like you called a penalty on me, and this guy's been sticking me and cross checking me. He can't do that. Okay, first of all, he can't do that.
Because the problem, as I see it, is look. I mean, I guess it's debatable, but I guess we could call him the second best player on the team.
He is,
if not third.
Well, I
to
mean,
Lang,
yeah, it's
maybe.
debatable, but
Right.
I mean, you got to figure Gensel's good because Sid
Right.
makes him good.
Right.
Gino makes Zucker good.
Right.
So I would say by default that means Gino's probably higher on the pecking order.
I mean, maybe Letang. I might actually put Letang before him, but different position.
It's different.
But my point is, if they're playing anybody but the Flyers last night, they maybe lose the game because of him.
Possibly, yeah. I agree with that. And last night it
that's-
didn't make a difference, but
Right.
you're right. They needed him out there because if you were there and if you could watch it online and knew what you were looking at, Granlund had no freaking clue how to center that second line. The guy is just clueless on the ice to begin with. Second of all, he actually looks smaller in person when you watch the Penguins live. Mikael Granlund does. So he should never be on the second line. Like they should put Paling on the second line before they put him. I would put Jeff Carter on the second line, as terrible as he's been, before I would put Mikael Granlund on that second line. But you're right. That pulls a big hole. And it was interesting that you say that because I was thinking, like, what happens if Sid or Gino get hurt? Like either this year or for the playoffs or anything like that, or God forbid next year they get a major injury. They would maybe be one of the worst teams in the league, I think, if one of those two guys got hurt because they don't have anybody to fill that position. They can't bring anybody up to fill that position, and they have nobody on the ice now to be able to do that. They don't really have a third line center right now. And I was thinking about postseason and after the Stanley Cup's over, they may have to think about going to get a third line center at the end of the season because they don't have one, and that causes problems because you want to sign Zucker and you've got cap problems. Mikael Granlund's expensive, and it's a mess.
I happen to have a feeling that no matter what the outcome of this season is, I don't think Hextall is going to be around.
Yeah, I think there could be a cleaning of the front office for sure.
Yeah,
I don't think Sully will end up being a victim of this. I think FSG will probably say, look, we kind of gave you a false mandate in rebuilding the team and keeping the superstars. But as it turns out, keeping the superstars made sense. The top 6 guys, the guys they kept, have played great. It's just the other guys they replaced them with sucked. So and when they had a chance to get rid of somebody like Kapanen, and they did, they brought in Mikael Granlund, who maybe is even worse. And they have him for 2 more years. So it's like, that's why he needs to go, not because of the signing of the veterans. He can't fill in those other positions. That's why he needs to go.
Right.
That's absolutely why he needs to go. But look, the Pens are in a playoff position now, and I actually think they're in pretty good shape.
Well, they have the easiest remaining schedule, right? Between them, the Panthers, and the Islanders.
They do. So the Islanders play against Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, the Capitals, and Montreal. So they actually don't have a terrible schedule. I mean, playing against Tampa is tough sledding. But Florida plays against Buffalo, who's hot right now. The Senators, who are playing well. They both play against Capitals. So they play against Capitals. But they finished the season. Florida finishes the season versus Toronto and versus Carolina.
Yeah.
So that's a tough ending. So don't be surprised if Florida goes on a little bit of a run here. If Florida loses to Buffalo, then I think as long as the Pens either get 1 point, they get 2 points in the next 2 games, either against New Jersey or Minnesota, I think they're in. I think they're in. Because I don't believe for a second they're going to not get 4 or 5 points out of the last 6 versus Detroit, Chicago, and Columbus. I just don't see any way where that's not going to happen.
Yeah, they should. I mean, those are 3 pretty
There's
lousy
no
teams.
reason why. I mean, Chicago and Columbus are 2 of the absolute worst teams in the NHL.
You would think, like, worst case scenario, get a point in all 3.
A point
Worst
in all
case,
3 won't
worst
be
case.
enough, but
You don't think?
but you could lose in Detroit if you won against Minnesota and got a game against the Devils. You got a point against the Devils, a loser point against the Devils. You know, that's where they are. I predicted that they would actually lose tomorrow against the Devils, gain a point against Minnesota, only a point against Detroit, and then win out against Chicago and Columbus. I don't know if that's definitely not enough to get them out of the Boston seeding. I think in order to get out of the Boston seeding, they need to probably win. They need to win all but one of the games.
And how about any comments on Letang's 1,000th game?
It was a just
Nice little ceremony.
Look. The one thing the Penguins organization does, they do those things really well. Actually, I think the last one, I was at the Billy Guerin 1001, and it was very similar, but because Guerin's family was there, he didn't have his kid out on the ice like Chris Letang did. I thought that was a nice tribute to bring his son in, because clearly he's very close with his son. So I thought that it was just cool to be at. You know, there were people saying there wasn't a dry eye in the house. That was a little hyperbole. there were people that weren't crying at the game.
You mean you weren't crying?
I was not crying.
Oh.
No, it was
something you would cry for, Steve.
No. Like, I'll cry at Sidney Crosby's last game. I promise you that.
Really?
Yes.
Can we be there for that?
I'll videotape it if you really want.
By the way, do you think that maybe after Malkin's hockey career ends, that he'll finally take a class on how to speak English?
No. Dude, he's Russian. He doesn't care about English.
Yeah.
He
He doesn't. Most of the Russians don't. Like you don't know a Russian who speaks like great English.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't
They
know.
just don't care about English because
know.
they just go back to the motherland and that's what they do.
To the
when
motherland. Well, and I happen to not know an American who speaks great Russian either, so I don't think any of us care about any of that.
No, I thought it was a great tribute. That's what you expect from. That's why they brought these guys back to do these tributes. I don't really feel too bad for Brian Rust, but I mean, 500 is a pretty big milestone in an NHL career, and he just got steamrolled because it was also his 500th game. But you got to figure that's going to happen.
I don't think 500 is that big a deal. I mean, that's 6 seasons, right?
Without being injured.
Right, without being injured. So 7 seasons.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, but for somebody like Brian Rust,
I guess
it
for
is.
him it is. Yeah.
For somebody like Brian Rust, it is. And he played them all with the Penguins.
Yeah.
DG wants to know what you thought about the inadvertent horn.
That was bizarre.
What do you think was going on
I
up
still
there?
don't even know what happened. You know what was funny before that?
They
I
drop
fell
a
asleep.
drop a hot dog
on the
Yeah.
the where the referees come over to that booth.
Mhm.
The door was open for the longest time, and Susie even pointed out, she was like, "Are they going to close that door?" And I was like, "Yeah, are they going to?" Because everybody was lining up for the face-off, and the door was still open. This was right before the horn blew, right?
Uh-huh.
And the reason I think they had the door open was because they have a red light that shows you when the commercials are done and they can drop the puck. So the red light was still on. So I think he had the door open because they can't start play if that's like that.
Oh, okay.
And then it looked like the light went off and then he shut the door. So I think that's why it was open. But literally 10 seconds after that, they're playing and then the horn just blows. I'm like, what the hell was that? And the other thing that happened too was I think when Malkin got kicked out the third period, like the Flyers went on a power play.
Yeah.
But they blew the whistle after a Flyer had the puck.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that
What
too.
the hell? I was like,
oh,
oh, okay, they're evening it up again. There was a lot of that even up shit that happens
there
that
was.
doesn't really happen a lot. And it was like, oh no, just Malkin's getting the penalty. I was like, well, then why did they stop playing?
Yeah, there were some weird things that went on in that game.
Yeah, no, I can't explain that
strange.
inadvertent horn. They didn't announce anything at the game. They just like, okay, everybody change lines and let's play again. It's so weird. Like the rest didn't even go over there and have a discussion they just kind of like looked at him like, what the hell are you doing? And then
Right.
they're like, okay, let's play hockey.
All right, guys. Well, listen, once again, you can catch the Hockey Jesus podcast after every Penguins game on the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. It is the Sports Porch. Give us a follow, write a review, and you can visit us on theporcheslive.com. Are we going to get a playoff spectacular sometime in the next week?
I got it started right there.
All right.
I'm
All right.
giving you just a little preview.
Wait. I'm not going to ruin anything. There you go.
Just
I mean, and then you got, I mean, this is dedication. I mean, I think we have to come up with some sort of prize for Steve. I mean, this guy every single game.
You can go. The last 2 months are on the pages before.
I mean, this is insane. Even though it's upside down, it doesn't matter. I mean, here, I take notes. That's
it's
crazy.
how I figure out.
Maybe we'll buy you a notebook.
Why the Penguins are going to do the things they're going.
We'll buy you a notebook for next year. So
but yes, a playoff preview will be forthcoming once we know who's actually in. It's looking pretty good that although Calgary has really surged, they still have a chance of overtaking Winnipeg. I think Seattle's definitely in the West. Nashville's out.
How about the Kraken?
Looks like we're getting a little of that preview right now.
No, I'm just talking about teams are on the bubble. And we know what's going on.
Yeah.
We know what's going on in the East. Florida, it's between Florida, Pittsburgh, and the Rangers.
Yep.
Buffalo's still hanging around, but that's why it'll be interesting to see if Buffalo can beat Florida. Because if Buffalo can beat Florida, they might just take each other out.
I'll tell you what, the way it went for the Knights and for the Kraken, I almost feel like it's better to just, dump your whole team and start over.
Yeah, really.
With an expansion draft.
Maybe that's something the Flyers should consider.
Well, we'll send an email to the league. All right, guys.
Hey, it's only been 48 years since the Flyers have won the Cup.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, so
hope prevails.
Next week on Monday, are you in town?
Next Monday, I am.
It's the day after Easter Monday.
I am
so
in
we're,
town.
We're still
Easter
good to go.
Monday.
How about you, Schwaber? You got any big Easter plans?
Well, I'll be, picking up those Easter eggs that the kids didn't pick up.
There you go. Right.
But
hopefully they got a little cash in them.
But outside of that, I will make myself available.
All right. That sounds good. So, all right, guys, want to thank you as always for watching us, for listening on American Busker iHeartRadio, 150 million registered users, 2,000 devices, 260 platforms, and or 50. I don't know. I get that wrong.
6 million
I don't get in trouble.
platforms.
6 trillion platforms. And
everybody has a computer, has a platform.
Remember, you can always catch us on theporcheslive.com, theporcheslive.com.
Theporcheslive.com.
And DG says, great show. I'll catch you next time. Happy Passover, Easter. Thank you, DG. Right back at you. And with that, we will see you guys. And I just want to give a shout out to my friend Jeff Paulus. I didn't get him in here, but thanks for watching, Jeff.
Jeff.
We will see you guys next week on the porch.
Now it's time for banana.